Okay, let's get this stream started, shall we? Hello, hello, hello. Hi, I'm Patrick, and this is going to be an unusual stream as I am doing this from my phone. There we go. I'm doing this from my phone. This is going to be a behind-the-scenes stream, and anything could happen, and it probably will. I'm going to go through my entire setup for streaming Xbox games. When I'm playing games, I'm playing on the Xbox, and I'm going to walk you through everything I got. And had gone through several trial and errors and stuff like that, and this is the best setup that I could put together for the time being, and the budget and the hardware that I've got. So without any further ado, I'm going to position this camera so that you're not looking at my nose, and so that I can kind of walk you through some of the setup that I've got here. Let's do this. Let me just turn you around. There, something like that. And forgive me if you're looking at my big old belly or whatever, but I am going to walk you through some of the stuff. Now, just so you know, this particular stream is streaming live on Twitch, YouTube, and Mixer. And hang on, let me get a little bit of headroom there so you can kind of see me. So Twitch, YouTube, and Mixer. And so whichever platform you're watching on, welcome. And feel free to chat in whichever platform that you're on there. I've got an iPad set up here that has, I'm using Restream.io to stream to all three of those platforms, but I'm also using their chat application here so that I can see the chat whichever platform it's on, wherever it is and wherever it comes in. I'll see it on here. I can also see it on my screen here. I'm running the Streamlabs application on my iPhone, but I'd rather not have to read it off this thing. I'll keep this iPad handy here. So as I'm doing this and I'm walking you through, if any questions come up, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer any of them. Especially on YouTube, my YouTube channel I put several videos of how to and behind the scenes videos explaining my setup on YouTube, and I've received some great questions from viewers who are trying to they're having a similar problem setting up with a Mac and an Xbox, and I've tried different things like OneCast and stuff like this. I'm back to using hardware now, and mainly because I like the idea of hardware encoding as opposed to doing it in software. I've only got one laptop, and that is a circa 2013 MacBook Pro. So it's not the fastest thing in the world. It's not the newest thing in the world. It's only one computer, and so I'm not even doing the dual PC streaming setup that all the cool kids do. I'm just one Mac, with a processor you could fry an egg on by the time I'm done streaming. But I'll walk you through everything that I'm doing and everything in my setup here. First off, I suppose I could give you a little tour. Let's do that. So, oops. Again, forgive me. I'm not as proficient in the Streamlabs mobile application, but here we go. Okay, so this is a TCL 55-inch TV. It's a 4K UHD TV, and I got it for a steal on Mother's Day. It was basically about $400 that I got it for, and it's a great TV. It plays 4K wonderfully, as you'll see in a bit. On top of that, I've got the Xbox Kinect and a C922 Logitech webcam. And that's what my main camera is when I'm doing my Xbox streaming, and you'll see how that works when I do that. Sorry I was adjusting the tripod there. So down here you can see I've got an Xbox One X Project Scorpio Edition. I've got a Prophecy HDMI splitter. And what this is important, what this is doing, is it's taking the 4K signal out of the Xbox, running it through the splitter, and sending 4K with UHD to this monitor here. At the same time, it's downscaling it to 1080p, which is not 4K. It's 1/4 of that, 1080p, and sending that through the Elgato HD60S. And then from that, it goes into a USB splitter back here, and it does its thing. And then it comes out magically into my software on here that you'll see. I'm also running audio through a mixing board here. This is the, Xenix Q802 USB from Behringer. It's a little $79 mixing board, but it's USB based, and it's quite a good mixing board. I'm very pleased with it. I'm also running a couple different sets of headphones. I'll tell you, I highly recommend these. These are the Plantronics Rig 800 headset. What's nice about this, it's got a little microphone that flips up. Super comfortable headset. Long battery life, completely wireless. So for Xbox gaming, it's fantastic. But also as a bonus, it's Dolby Atmos, Atmos, compatible. And so it comes with, in the box, a coupon to unlock Dolby Atmos. And it's usually like $40, but they give it to you for free. Really nice for watching movies, like the Avengers and Infinity War and what have you. I've also got a set of Sony, just regular studio monitor Sony headphones, and a Heil 400 microphone there with a spit shield on it, or whatever they call it. And that's on a telescoping rig, and we'll get to that as we set up. So the goal for this video, also, I'm coming into the Mac here, and it's, like I said, a MacBook Pro, and I've got a second monitor here just for bigger stuff. Also running Stream Deck. Elgato makes this product called a Stream Deck, which is really nice, and you've got different screens. Whoops. Each button has a little LCD screen behind it, and so you can customize it to whatever kind of setup you want. I've got a setup for Game Capture HD. This one's for OBS, so similar things. We're changing scenes and stuff like that. The demonstration today will mostly focus on Game Capture HD, and then I've got other things here that are shortcuts to the different websites that I use as I'm counting down to launch. And let's see. Oh, by the way, I should tell everybody I'm live. This is a nice thing, is I can just tweet. There. And it just tweeted out that I'm live and doing a behind-the-scenes video. So hopefully if you're following me on Twitter, @PJK, that will now clue you in that it's time to watch. Also, you should note, I've got a couple of lights set up, not only just so that you can see me, but this is part of my setup when I'm streaming. And so I wanted you to see literally everything I do prior to clicking the button that says Stream Now. So again, bear with me because this will be kind of a rough show, so to speak, a rough stream, in that I'm not using my typical equipment. I'm using a phone and a little tripod here, and I will try to move it around to catch, follow the action or what have you of whatever I'm talking about and want you to focus upon. So let's do this. I'm going to walk you through, step by step, my entire pre-stream countdown or pre-stream activity prior to going live. So let's do that. The first thing I do is I plug in my audio cable here, which is coming out of the mixer. I do that. I go under System Preferences here. Let's see if you can see. Let's scooch that just a little bit. So under my System Preferences, I hit Sound, and on this, my input is the mixing board, and that's really just getting my microphone input. The game input is coming from the HDMI cable on the HD60, that Elgato HD60. We'll get to that in a second. The output on this is I want the output to be, yes, headphone port is fine. I'm going to be listening to my game output using the wonderful Plantronics headset. And I'll be listening to the game there. I don't listen to myself in the chat. I just look at the VU levels to see what the how hot my microphone is, how loud I'm talking. And I'm not using, as you can tell, I'm not using a microphone right now, so I'm hoping you can hear me on the microphone on the iPhone here, and we can pick that up. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. I'm going to be checking out my little chat window here from time to time. And if any questions pop up, I'll see them regardless of what platform you're watching on. So I'll see it on Mixer and YouTube and Twitch and be able to answer your questions there. So now that I've got my sound set up, which is here, let's see. What I've done prior to this stream, just so as you know, is I've gone through and boop, there we go. I've gone through, and I hope that that's still going to work. Hang on just a second. I just tweaked something here, and I hate it when I do that live, but that's what we're going to do. We're a live show. We're going to mess up live. We're going to do things live that you do at home and mess up yourself, and we'll mess up together. So let me throw test in here and just make sure that, yep, we can still see it. Okay, good. So I'm going back here. Restream.io has a feature called multi-streaming. And what I'm doing right now, what you're watching right now, is the same output going to Twitch, Mixer, and YouTube. Prior to a stream, as I go into titles here, can't really see it that well. Let's see if I can get you a little closer. Go into titles. Let me just flip this. Beep. And I change the title. So it's the same title for each of my streams here. And you can just hit edit and change that and say what game it is. In this case, it's IRL. And there you go. When you say update, it updates all of these, and off you go. Then I open up the chat window, which is in this tab right here, and that's what then I can open up on my iPad and see all the chat messages. And that's really all I use Restream for, is the main sort of splitter, so to speak, that gets me out to the different platforms. Following that, I then open up my dashboard on Twitch, and as you can see, here's my dashboard on Twitch. And I double check some things. I see if I've got any tags and stuff I need to manually tweak on Twitch. I do that here. I also test the chat, so as I did before, you know, test, you know, just to see if it pops up, you know, and pops up on the screen like you're seeing there. I do the same thing with Mixer. Go into Mixer, and I check it out, and I see what the stream's looking like, and I throw in test a couple of times just to make sure it's working as it should, and as you can see, it pops up there. So this is just all the stuff I do prior to setting up and making sure that all the chat and the behind-the-scenes stuff with the platforms is doing as it's supposed to be doing. I go in and do the same thing on YouTube and hit test, and it'll do its thing. But that's what I do for each of those three platforms. Then I fire up Streamlabs, which you're watching Streamlabs' mobile application right now, but I also fire it up on the web here, mainly because I keep a window open with all the recent followers and, you know, followers and subscribers and donations and all that stuff, as I like to see that stuff. If I miss it on stream, I like to try to catch it, you know, and at least go, oh wait, somebody new has joined, and, you know, call them out and say, hey, thanks for joining. Very cool. And so I keep that up here. Also, I run something, my bot that I run is called Botissimo, B-O-T-I-S-I-M-O, Botissimo. And it just does some things like, you know, greets people if they follow and stuff like that. You know, it's just kind of an automatic thing. In case I miss it, at least it's somebody can shout it out. And also that helps me when I see something like that in chat, is I can go, oh, wait, somebody joined. Hang on, let me go back and look at the list. This also automatically blasts out to my Discord to say that I'm broadcasting now. So that's helpful as well. Finally, I open up TipeeeStream, which has some scenes with different animations and things like that that I pull up during the stream using the Stream Deck here. And I'll show you some examples of that if I can. I don't know if I can do that in preview mode, but we'll try it out. Let's see what else we got. That's my sort of my pre-launch ritual there, and I leave this on Streamlabs. I keep some of the other tabs open just in case I need to jump in and fix something real quick on any of the platforms. Sorry, my nose keeps itching. Anyway, so let's go into the real nuts and bolts of this, which is the how do I get from my Xbox to my Mac here and out to all these magical platforms. Well, I'm using, again, Elgato. E-L-G-A-T-O has a product called the HD60S, which again I will point to here. the HD60S. It's the size of a pack of cards, and that has an HDMI and a USB, HDMI in and a USB out. The USB out is going to a router, or I'm sorry, a USB switch, or hub. Sorry, hub. Use the proper word, Patrick. Okay. It's a hub that's behind my screen here. And I will fire up the software. This is software called Game Capture HD. And it may not work the first time, because sometimes it doesn't. And I'll show you what I do when it doesn't work the first time. So here we go. Let's get this again. Apologies for looking up my nose. But I go into Game Capture HD, which is as simple as hitting that button, and it will launch said software. Boom. Okay, so here's Game Capture HD. And I like to move it over here a little bit. And move this like so that I can see everything. Then I go into capture mode here. So there's a capture tab up here. And let's see if I can actually connect to the Game Capture HD. Let's see, one moment please. Cross your fingers. Hopefully it finds a signal. And I don't see a signal. Oh. Well, we're going to, have the same experience together of debugging this piece of shit. Now, let's see. Pardon my French. This is the camera that I'm clicking through the different scenes, just seeing if I can kick it into gear. But it doesn't appear so. So, okay, that's fine. Perfectly fine. I'm going to, not that one, but let's go back to game lower left. Yes. Okay, so what I should be seeing in this big black space here is my Xbox. I'm not seeing it. So the first thing I'm going to do is go up here. It says it's got a little warning here. It's got a little info here saying, okay, it's having some issues. Okay, so let's go in here and double check input device. I want to make sure it says Xbox One. We're HDMI, expanded, HD 1080. Okay. It tried to do something there, didn't it? I saw it thinking about it. Okay, that's okay. So first thing I do when I'm having an issue like this, and this is good for troubleshooting, is what you should always do, which is restart it. Yes. So turn the software off, turn the software back on. First step of any good debugging solution here. So let's quit Game Capture. And it's completely quit. I'm going to launch it again using my button. And let's see if that fixes it. It may not. It may not. Let's see. All right. And no signal. Okay. So that tells me a couple of things. It's going to tell me I'm going to fully shut down and restart the Xbox. The Game Capture software is a little bit picky, as is the HD60 capture device, in that if you've been doing things like watching Netflix or Amazon Prime or anything that has HDCP, high definition copy protection, I think is what that stands for, it sticks to it. It's a little tag that sticks to it and it doesn't let it go. Even after you've quit Netflix, oh no, it still thinks you're looking at copy protection software. So when you come to a game capture software like this, it just clamps down and says, nope, I'm not going to show anything. And so the real way to get rid of that, I'll show you here. Let's go to my Xbox and let's see if I can get my controller on. There we go. So here's the ritual that I do when I'm going to stream on this, is I will first go into settings, which is here. Oops, that's not settings. This is settings. Two settings that I go in and mess with here. The first is power mode. Power mode right now is on instant on. So I'm going to turn that to energy saving. Don't ask me why. I don't know why, but this works. Then I go to display and sound up here. All right. I say video output. Right now it's at 4K And if you look at the details, you see I've got all my stuff checked there except for Dolby Vision, so okay. But the thing I'm going to mess with right here is video modes, and I'm going to turn off, uncheck HDR10. Okay? So once I do that, now I'm going to go back to the home screen. And then I'm just going to, actually, I'm going to do a hard restart on this. I'll show you how to do that. This is one of those things that, you know, the universal bitch slap for any device is to do a hard restart. Well, for the Xbox, it works like this. You see this power button? Is you push it in until the whole system shuts down. So just count to 10 or whatever. And it will all shut down. There you go. And you just let it sit for a minute. You know, the TV will freak out like, oh my gosh, there's no signal. What's going on? But we'll get there. And as you can see, my splitter is, you know, looking for a signal there. Enough time's gone by. I think it's ready to fire this back up. Oops. There we go. You want to hear that doo-doo-dee? Okay, so as that's firing itself on, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in that chat room there. You can use any platform that you're watching on. You can use Mixer. Yeah, there we go. This, when you see this animation, you know that you've gone to the full reboot cycle. And so this will take a few seconds as it gets itself back to life, back to reality. And I will switch back to my beautiful camera mode here. And I think this is going to work. Oh, it's already working. Look at that. So there's game capture software. It's got the Xbox One loading screen on there. It's doing its thing. So that did work. So whatever the hard reboot does, it cleans all the cobwebs out of the system, so to speak, and gets you back in action. And as you can see, we'll be ready to start streaming. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is show you how I set up my audio. So first thing, pull this headset off, lay it down, and I bring this around. Get it set up. Get it in position. Okay. So as I'm streaming, the camera sees me like this, and I've got my microphone near my face here. In the software, as you can see, the audio level, oops, let me turn you around here so I can see what you're seeing. See the audio level? So when I talk, I can see that it's nice and strong audio level there. I've got a mute button here, so what I usually do, once I've tested the audio levels, I'll just hit mute. So now it's not, when I talk, it's not moving anymore. And at that point, I then start checking audio for the game itself, or whatever it is I'm playing. So in this case, let's just pick a game at random. Blah, 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 blah. Let's do Assassin's Creed. That's a good one to try out. And as you can see, what's neat about this, I'm playing in full 4K. I'm not playing in HDR though, because HDR tends to freak this thing out. So fine, turn off HDR. I can live without it. And not every game's optimized for it anyway. But so we're going to start the game up, and I'll show you what happens over here in the capture side of things. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up in chat. I'm happy to answer any questions live on the air. If you're watching this on demand, then hit me up anyway. Just send me a message through whatever platform, or you can tweet me at PJK, and I'll get it that way. All right, so let's see. Here we are with, let me zoom in a little bit on this. There we go. How's that? So here we are with our, let me turn this towards you so you can see it a bit better. How's that? There we go. So now we're launching the game. The game is firing up, and now we should have some music that starts to play. Yeah. Do you hear it? So, in this case, There you go. So you can hear that in the background. As you can see, my composition's not so hot on the screen there. I've got my, funky little lower camera there. I'm covering up part of the logo. But I just want to show you right now, this is the game audio here. And as it's playing its music, you can see it's, it's not as loud as my voice. When I turn my voice on, testing 1 2, testing 1 2, check check check, you can see my voice will always be on top of the game's audio there. Alright, so there's Assassin's Creed. It's up and running. We're ready to start streaming, but wait, no, we're not. We're not ready to start streaming. So what I need to do first is get my green screen going. As you can see on this thing here, this looks like hell. I need to get my green screen happening. So let's do that. Set this over here. And the green screen that I use is from... Hit mute so that that doesn't sound so loud. The green screen I use is a company called WebAround. And I saw these guys at TwitchCon 2017. I thought, what a cool product. Let me show you how this works. So let's, here's my chair. All right. So this is the product. It's a green screen that, watch this. Poof. That's an expandable green screen. And what you do is you slide it right over the back of your chair. So in this case, I got to take the pillow off. Watch this. It'll go right over the back of the chair. Like so. So that when I'm sitting in it, I've got a nice even green screen. It's got a box that you can shove in here too to sort of tilt it forward a little bit, which I'll do. There we go. I'm ready for green screening. Now, I get myself situated here, get nice and comfortable. All right, as you can see, getting up close to the screen here. I get my microphone set up and ready to go. Now, what I also have here, I'm testing and I'm looking at the image over here, and I need to zoom in. So give me a second and I'll do that. The way I do that is is missing. Oh, there it is. Okay, I go into Logitech camera settings. Okay, let's do this, this, and this. So what I do is I go into full screen camera here so I can get a good look at myself. And boy, am I beautiful. And then I go in and I start messing with the settings. First thing I do is I turn the autofocus off and I zoom this thing all the way in. Then I go to advanced settings and I do brightness, take it down to 10 points. I take contrast up 10 points, or 5 points, sorry. Color intensity up 5 points, and hit save. Okay, then I just stick it behind this window. And that's really all I have to do for setting up the green screen stuff. Now when I go back into my lower third, or lower left, as you can see, I'm now cropped out. The green screen is effectively cropping me out. And you see I've got some events that are popping up here, so things are working. That's how you want your stream to work. The next thing I do is double check everything. Make sure I've got my tweet. Make sure I've got my tweet ready to go out that announces I'm live. Let's see. Let me turn myself up a bit. There we go. I set the tweet up that says, "Hey, I'm live and I'm streaming now," and that then goes out to the rest of the world and lets people know that I'm streaming. If you follow me on YouTube and hit the bell, or if you say notifications on or what have you on Twitch, it's the same type of thing. You'll be alerted when I'm going live. And so now that I've tested everything, I've checked the levels, I've checked the video, I've now got the Xbox on there. What I usually do, and I'm not going to hit go, but I'll walk you through sort of the pre-flight countdown here, is I'll then go and just test some of my scenes, like Be Right Back. You know, I've got a scene there. I've got the full camera scene here. Okay, I've got my offline scene. And so I'll usually start in offline mode. And then I'll say, okay, I'm ready to start. And so what I'll do is go to my starting screen. And watch what happens here. When I say starting soon, a timer will show up. Boom. 5 minutes. And so I usually turn this on, and right then is when I hit the Stream Now button. And then I go out and tweet out that I'm live. That gives everybody 5 minutes to kind of show up and get in the chat room and do what they're doing, and kind of get settled in and ready to stream. But I also, if you'll notice, I have live video going in the background here. I don't have the sound on, but you can at least see me setting up and stuff like that. So you know I'm there, and you know I'm about to get going. It's kind of a subtle thing, but anyway, that's what I do prior to every stream. And I'm hoping that was useful for you. And that if you have any questions with regards to how the setup works, feel free to ask me. Let me get back to camera mode there. And that is, that's my behind the scenes tour. I didn't get into specifics on the actual software settings and the hookups and stuff like that. But if that's something you're interested in, definitely drop me a line in whatever platform you're on there. Hit me up on any of those platforms, or hit me up on Twitter at PJK, and I'm happy to answer the questions. Again, this is my latest setup, and it's the one that's working the best for me so far. It's using hardware to encode. I'm able to game and watch my games in 4K, and I'm sending the highest possible quality signal to these different platforms through Restream because I'm able to capture in full 1080p, 30 frames per second, and actually maybe even I think it's 30. I think I kept it down to 30. So it's the most consistent for the upstream capacity of my internet connection, and I think it's the best quality for what I'm able to pull off with the hardware that I've got. And so I hope that you're able to see that, and if you like what you saw in this video, give it a thumbs up, or say an attaboy or what have you. But also watch my my game streams. I'm streaming on these exact same platforms here, and tonight in particular, if you go to twitch.tv/PJK_, there's an event link there. They don't have events yet in Mixer, so sorry, you'll have to go to Twitch to do this, or go to my Twitter feed, which is @PJK, no underscore, just @PJK. And there's a link there in one of my recent tweets that will take you to a straw poll. And I'm going through my very large backlog of games that I didn't get to in 2018. Oh, Happy New Year. Hey there, V-Chick. Hang on, let me make sure I get your name right. V-Chickens. V-Chickens. Happy New Year to you. I'm talking about a stream that I'm going to be doing later on tonight. I'm going through my backlog of games, and some of them are big and some of them are small, indies and stuff like that. But go to my straw poll @PJK on Twitter, and you can vote on which games you want to see, and those are the ones I'll play. And I'll play, up until, the new year rings in here in Central Time. I'm in Missouri. And, yeah, we'll have some fun. As I say, the corks will be popping and the balls will be dropping. And then I went, wait a minute. That's probably not what I meant to say. But anyway, that's it for this behind-the-scenes video. If you're just tuning in, I've just gone through a full behind-the-scenes, how I set up my stream, everything right up to the point where I click the Stream Now button. I've just gone through that whole thing, including setting up my green screen and all that stuff. So definitely check it out on demand. I'm going to keep it up there because I get a lot of questions from people wanting to know how I set things up, or what my software has done, or what I use as far as hardware and that sort of thing. And it is not expensive. The stuff I've got here is cheap. This thing is like $50. If you get them at TwitchCon, you can get them even cheaper. So I mean, it's $50 online now, but I mean, you can get them in person at the conventions. You can get 25% off or something like that. So yeah, check them out. This is called WebAround. Comes in a nice little case that you can carry it around in. I stuff it under the bed when I'm done. So there it is. I'll be back in maybe an hour or 2 hours or something to start my New Year's Eve stream. This was just a special behind-the-scenes stream, and I hope it's been helpful for you. And we'll see you back and playing some backlog games tonight. All right, take care. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.